Hello. Welcome. So today we would be discussing the WBSET paper which happened in 2023. So it is the West Bengal State Eligibility Test. Now the most important thing that we want to understand here is the West Bengal Eligibility Test was a paper which was conducted on lines of NET paper 1, but the paper 1 in the case of West Bengal set is relatively easy. One reason why, because the Indian philosophy section was not asked. The second important thing that we need to understand is the questions on research were really good. They were aligned with the new education policy, indicating many of the questions were applied. Even if you have read the concept, simply you cannot answer it because if you have understood the concepts, then only you would be able to attempt it. We would understand few of the questions as an example, but let's understand the backdrop of it first before we proceed to the next thing. Okay, so the most important thing here is firstly the questions on mathematics were relatively easy, but they were pretty easy, I would say, in contrast to what is asked in your NET examination. If we go on to syllogism, again I would like to say syllogism, there are numerous methods through which people solve it, but the three Venn diagram is the most accurate method. Refer the 4 videos that we have covered on syllogism to understand this three Venn diagram problem, and if you solve using this, all the syllogism problems are an easy task for you. The next important thing is questions pertaining to teaching. Now, teaching is a topic that has actually become different over the time period. Let's talk about some of the questions that were asked in the West Bengal PSC to understand it better. But as we proceed, in case you have any questions or doubts, you can simply post those in the comment section and I'll be ready to take those. The first question that we discuss here is constructivism. What is constructivism? Now, this was one of the questions from West Bengal set. We would be talking about few of the questions from teaching and research specifically, because those were the questions which were little different from other questions and therefore needs to be discussed. So, I'm looking for answers in the comment section here as we proceed. I'll be taking few of those and the remaining would be covered in another class. Now, constructivism is a concept that focuses on learner-centered behavior. So, there are 7 guiding principles, I could say, which make the idea of constructivism. One is that considering the fact that learner is an active learner, it is considered as a social theory. It also believes that whatever knowledge we have is always constructed, and one learning is there, any new thing you learn is built on top of it. So it's like a building, a story that you have, and this makes the learning experience more meaningful, more insightful, and makes it also an active process that occurs throughout. So definitely it is a learner-centered approach. So student-focused or learner-centered is the right option for this question. Another interesting question. This is a very, very good question. There is a new app by Google, and this app is free for mobile applications in iOS and Android. It talks about nearly 500 different expeditions which are observed through the Google Cardboards, and within the Google Cardboards there is this VR system which is installed, and it talks about an immersive virtual tour and field trip to various destinations. So this technique which is used is an innovative technique used by Google. So it's a proprietary of Google. So of the 3 options, we could have one option that is correct. A lot of you might think that it's about virtual tours, so Google virtual tours could be the right answer, but no, it is Google Expeditions. Google Expedition allows the explorer in 2 views. One is the view from the student's point of view, the other is the view from the teacher's point of view, and there are various panoramic scenes, field trips, virtual tours which are made part of it. So an extremely important question, innovative question, I would say, based on recent happenings, and therefore you must be aware about questions like these. The next is which of the following evaluation is used for monitoring the learning process of students? Now, monitoring the learning process of a student is a continuous process, I would say. And since it's a continuous process, what would be the right option here? Of these, formative assessment is an assessment that is ongoing. Summative happens towards the end, and it's not examining or giving a feedback to the students to enhance the learning curve. The difference between the formative and the summative learning curves we have covered, the evaluation methods we have covered in a separate video. The complete video course, which is available on the link that we have put in the comment section, covers all of these videos in a detailed fashion. Okay, let's move to the next question. Now, this would be one of the very important questions of discussion today. I hope you understand the kind of clarity which is required for these kind of questions. Now, an instructional method, which is a type of blended learning. Blended learning means we are not only focused on online mode, but we are also focusing on offline mode of learning. So how is it made possible? This is made possible through flipped classrooms. Clear? So under flipped classrooms, what happened? The students are given the material at home, they study the material at home, they come back to the classroom, and in the classroom they are only engaged with live problems. So it actually enhances higher order thinking. Higher order thinking is a very important concept that we must understand as part of flipped learning. So flipped classroom, I would say, is the right option for this question. Now, similar to these, there were questions on what is ISBN, there were questions on mediated communication, questions pertaining to growth without development, growth with development, development without growth, the differences between those, understanding types of literature reviews. So the various types of literature reviews, which include the narrative literature review, the synoptic literature review, traditional literature review, we have covered again in a separate video available in the complete course there. So do watch the video. It's extremely important for your NET examination as well. ISBN, again, extremely important for your NET examination. And then the rhetoric concept of Aristotle, which talks about communication being rhetoric. And this is again an extremely important topic that you must cover. Questions pertaining to these or similar to these can come again in your NET examination. Similarly, there was a question on APA, which is a citation style. The acronym for APA was asked. In the last paper, we had already seen for UGC NET, there were numerous questions pertaining to APA, MLA, a match list question talking about the various citation styles and their basic aspects. Similarly, there were questions on rubrics. Rubrics and the method of rubrics is again extremely important. As I said, the questions from data interpretation, the question from set squares, the set and the Venn diagrams were relatively easy. Reading comprehension was a direct passage. Mathematics was of average difficulty. I would say relatively it was easier. So the number series questions, the blood relation question were relatively easy. So that's something that if you are preparing for your NET examination, then you are already set with all your set examinations or the state eligibility test if you are appearing for the same. But when it comes to paper 2, I would like to say again, the paper 2 difficulty for set, that is the state eligibility test, is relatively less in contrast to the NET. So if you are preparing for your NET wholeheartedly, then set becomes a very easy task. Also, if you have already qualified your NET, then it does not make any sense to appear for your set examination. Either of the one qualifications should suffice. If a university is recruiting and you are NET qualified, then you are given the same stance as a set qualified candidate. So don't worry on that front. I hope this session was useful. pertaining to the time constraint, we are able to pick only few of the questions. However, other questions we would be covering in a separate video which would be coming on Examrace channel. So if you are subscribed, we do have important updated concepts like Nipun Bharat, e-Vikalp, e-Yantra, some of the new initiatives by the government, VVM, are some of the other initiatives pertaining to higher education. We would also talk about some of the important developments in the field of environment. So all these topics would be covered as we proceed. So these are some of the very expected topics for your upcoming NET examination. Prepare well, study well, and in case you have any questions or doubt, feel free to connect back to us. I'll be more than happy to address your queries or concerns. Wish you very good luck for your forthcoming examination. Have a wonderful day ahead. And in case you are looking for a personal guidance, do feel free to drop a message, and I would be happy to connect back to you. You can also email me on my personal email ID manishika.jain@mindspreadsolutions.com. Wish you very good luck. Have a wonderful day ahead.